Oh, turn it up, everybody. Hump day. Hump day. Hopefully we get no humping below us in the yoga studio. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets podcast.
Let's go.
There it is.
Let's go.
Live from the studio and an undisclosed location. What just happened there?
My wife is just like out of control right now, man.
Is she pranking you? Is this a prank?
Like, I'm about to go live on the show. Oh, let me just go to the bathroom real quick.
Hilarious. There we go. Yes, we got a great show for you today because we're going to play a game. We're in the deep off season. We're in hump day of the week. We don't have Vote. We don't actually know where Vote is. He said he'll be back tomorrow, but nobody knows where he is.
Undisclosed location. I mean, that's how the man operates this time of year about. We did hear he's coming back today.
Later today.
Yeah, later today.
Also coming home today, D-Line Co. So the family is reuniting tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to have a fellas studio show for you tomorrow. But we're going to play a little either ors for you today. We've done this in the past, by the way, Harrison, but I wanted to look back and see if we could just rank the series, all the Nuggets series of this era, try to figure out what the worst one was, what was the best one, and everything in between. I think it'll be a good one. But we're going to start, Harrison. We have some schedule news.
Let's go.
This is the day of the slow, or the week of the slow trickling out of the schedule. I think tomorrow is officially schedule day. That's when it all drops, so we can really dive into it over the next few days. But they are releasing little bits, bit by bit, and we got an update today. What did we find out?
We found out the 4 group games for the NBA Cup. Sorry. The 4 group games for the
Emirates.
Sorry.
Come on, man.
NBA Cup.
So,
and they are as follows.
Well, hold on real quick. I'm going to say opening day, Christmas and opening day are like, I'm actually into it. NBA Cup, man, this did not need its own day. The NBA Cup schedule did not need its own day.
I mean, where are we just at on the NBA Cup, though? Because first season, I was actually a little excited for it. The games definitely had some juice. It even seemed like the players got into it. Last year took a big dive, though. I feel like last year the momentum completely dropped off. And now, does anybody really care anymore about the NBA Cup?
They do not, especially when the game happens, maybe you'll tune in. But as far as, Adam Silver being like, we're going to drop this on Wednesday, the 13th, we're going to drop it so everybody gets excited about the dates. Nobody cares about the dates of this thing, but whatever. We'll talk about it anyway.
So the 4 games they dropped for the Nuggets for the NBA Cup. October 31st, Nuggets at Trailblazers.
So that is either the 4th or 5th game of the season.
Yeah. NBA Cup has moved up this year.
Really?
It's definitely moved up to even earlier in the season, I think. Yeah.
Because you're still rusty at that point, 5 games into the year, and that's a tournament game. That's kind of interesting. At least it's
you
Trailblazers.
would think the NBA and Adam Silver would want teams to be a little more, in rhythm for such a prestigious event. Then November 7th versus the Warriors. That's the second NBA Cup game.
Okay. The Warriors.
November 21st at the Rockets. That's the third. And November 28th versus the Spurs.
Okay.
Those are the 4.
I don't even know what to say to this.
Well, what to say to this is that the Nuggets are in a tough group, and these do count as regular season games. They put together the groups based on the standings from last year, and for some reason, how they've done this NBA Cup is just I'm so confused on so many levels. For some reason, they are so intent on keeping this thing to their respective conferences.
Yeah.
Western Conference teams can only play Western Conference teams. Same with the
Right.
East. So they seed these, groups based on the standings from last year, but there's only so many bad teams in the West. So the Nuggets are in, this group with the Rockets, who, could win the West this year. They were the second seed last year, or third seed last year. The Warriors, who are going to be good, especially early in the season, and the Spurs, who could be, the biggest riser from last year. So that's the takeaway. These are regular season games, but because the Nuggets are in such a tough group and they're in the West, it's tough.
Do we know, are any of these games, because I know they're doing the NBA Cup on, some of these are on prime time. Do we know if any of these are prime time or are on like Peacock or whatever? I know that the Timberwolves game is on Peacock. That was the one we talked about yesterday. It's like the first night of Peacock, I believe. So they get the opening night of it. But are any of the other Cup games on Peacock?
Yes, there are two. It's the
Nuggets Warriors is on Prime.
I think the Warriors and Rockets games are both on Amazon Prime.
You're right. So here's one thing that is actually kind of interesting is that we will get ESPN, we will get Peacock, and we'll get Prime Video all in the first month. The Nuggets will be on all three in the first month of the season, which is cool. I kind of want to see what the different groups, a lot of new analysts. Right. I'm curious what they say about the Nuggets.
Yeah, we'll be able to see how much we hate the NBA on NBC crew early on in the season. I'm just kidding. I'm actually excited for that too. I'm excited to see just a different, broadcast partners take on how to cover a game for sure.
Also, by the way, did you see this where Inside the NBA is only at the moment scheduled for one opening night 30-minute show and then not again until Christmas? I told you ESPN was going to ruin this.
I did see that. I have no idea where it came from. I don't know if it's true or not. But I did see it and I thought, I'm not surprised.
They're going to ruin it. They're for sure. And honestly, the way they're going to ruin it more than anything else is in the timing. ESPN, for whatever reason, they have short segments with long commercial breaks. So that's going to be a real story, I think, this year, this like death rattle of Inside the NBA. But any other thoughts on schedule talk here?
So, we have, just a tweet out there of what the schedule is so far as we know it. And I think there have been 7 games out there total. You've got these 4 group games for the NBA Cup, and you've got the season opener, which we know, and then the 2 other national TV Timberwolves games that have been put out. So the season schedule as we know it. October 23rd at the Warriors, that's the opener. Then they play at the Timberwolves on the 27th. The 4 games I just rattled off from the NBA Cup, the 31st, November 7th, the 21st, the 28th, and then the Timberwolves on Christmas. So we know those 7 games. But from that, we know the home opener is probably October 25th because they go October 23rd at the Warriors to open the season. And then the next game is October 27th that we know of at the Timberwolves, national TV game on Peacock. So October 25th is probably the home opener. You were probably right when you diagrammed it in the linear model yesterday.
I'm telling you, it's a big deal. I actually prefer the Nuggets to have an away game on Thursday and a home game on Saturday because Saturday nights is better. That'll be a fun game to go to and to be at. One other quick piece here, and that is that Michael Porter Jr. has really taken to the pods lately, man. Since getting to Brooklyn, it's like he was doing the pod for a while, but he had one yesterday or a couple days ago that went viral, and it was him talking about sports gambling. And let's just play the clip real quick. I think we have it, Alyssa. Let's play the clip so we can see what we're talking about.
Sports gambling stuff can affect that a lot.
100%.
Think about it.
There you go.
You get mad at these dudes that do the sports betting, but think about if you could get all your homies rich by telling them, yo,
no shit,
bet $10,000 on my under, this one game I'm gonna act like I got an injury and I'm gonna sit out. I'm gonna come out after 3 minutes, and they all get a little bag because you did it one game. Like, that is so not okay. But some people probably think like that. They come from nothing, and 100%. All their homies have nothing,
100%.
And they're like, bro, if I come out of this game after 3 minutes and y'all all hit on my under, we're all getting a little bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I obviously my brother went through his situation. Malik Beasley's going through a situation right now. Terry Rozier was in some hot water. But the whole sports gambling like entity, bro, it's bad, and it's
So here's the thing about MPJ, man. This is the truth, I think, of a lot of things, MPJ, not everything, but a lot. Does he say anything that, like, if you were to say that, it's not that big a deal? It's actually true. NBA players probably do think, I could make my friend some money without having to give it to him. I could make some. That's obviously the risk of sports gambling. But his brother is the one who did it. And so for him to talk this way, it's like, it's so crazy, man.
Well, he's describing exactly what the group text might have been like between his brother and the friends he was getting the bag for.
And he frames it all as hypotheticals. Like a guy could say, for example, it's like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
There's a tweet out there right now, which might be the greatest tweet in the history of the app. MPJ might be the funniest in the league. And from it, we're just getting the best of MPJ. Interviews, quotes, podcast appearances. This is an all-timer. And yeah, it would be, it tracks. You're like, okay, this kind of makes sense. I guess this is why somebody would do this. Yeah, like I could see it. But when you're talking about your brother,
yeah,
it's a little weird.
It's just weird. Yeah, it's just weird is all it is. And here's the thing, man. I'm going to zig now on this because I see even Walrus in the chat says, I don't have a problem with this one. I mean, it's not that I have a problem with it or not, but I am going to say this. We live in an era of overly cultivated athlete personas and very shielded athlete personas. And being on now in the job that we're in, where we kind of look into behind the curtain and then also see how things are presented, interact with fans who mostly only ever see once, what comes out. I hate that players don't share who they are. Mike does. And so I don't want to get upset or laugh or point or do any of this stuff too much. I mean, I do think it's just you can laugh at things when they're funny. Mike's funny. He's unintentionally funny, so we're going to laugh about it. But at the same time, I don't see the outrage over this one. I just see it as like, man, the guy really doesn't know how to like not come off as hilarious and aloof. But I do appreciate the fact that he's one of the few athletes that isn't curated. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you don't curate your personality. Everybody points and laughs.
I'm not that mad at it either. It's just hilarious and a little weird for him to describe the exact situation that has his brother banned from the league for life and going to jail for potentially. I don't know, but maybe. But we said forever, like Mike is the best quote on the team because he doesn't lie.
Right.
Like he just says it how it is. He says what's on his mind. He gives you the answer to the question you're wanting for. And I've always appreciated. I love Mike and just like how open and honest he is in that setting. Because like you said, not that many players are. And you get a lot of bullshit. But with Mike, it's what he's thinking and what's on his mind. So I love it. And the thing I know about Mike is he doesn't care about what people are saying about what he said.
You might be right about that. Yeah.
I mean, based on the episodes of Curious Mike that he continues, like he doesn't care, man.
He's gone into murky waters. Yeah.
He is not afraid to at all. So I do really appreciate it because not a lot of athletes speak their mind, honestly.
Yep. So it is interesting. I'm glad he kind of does it, but it is funny because he doesn't, he has some hilarious things to say. And it's not even that he has hilarious things to say. He sometimes says them in the funniest ways. Some of it's the delivery. You're just kind of like, it's the funniest way you could have told this story. But yes.
He kind of has a great delivery.
I will say, though, with regards to sports gambling, which is a messy business, with regards to it, athletes don't talk about it. And it is interesting that he was the one guy. It's almost like athletes are afraid to talk about it in any way. And it is funny that he was willing to just go jump right in and be like, no, this thing that has become part of our game carries these crazy risks. Like nobody will say that. And it's kind of interesting and in some ways weirdly refreshing that he said it, if not hilarious.
He described the Jonte situation in such detail. And look, I'm sure he knows exactly what happened because it was his brother. That's exactly what transpired, right? In the Jonte Porter situation.
Seems like it, yeah.
He could get his friends a bag for exiting a game early with a fake injury. And that's what he did.
Yeah, well, tried to do. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to start playing some either ors for the Nuggets season. You guys can play along with us. We'll do that on the other side.
Shout out to our friends over at Empire Today. Empire Today, they're the best in flooring. Well, whatever your home needs, Empire Today, they've got you covered. You've been to those big box stores. You wander the endless aisles. You don't want to go there. You want to go to the experts. That's Empire Today. They will get you right for a big job like your floors. They're the best bet for new flooring. They live and breathe flooring. They'll be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame with Empire Today. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. Some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code DNVR. A $350 discount with the code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DNVR for full details. Also, make sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing. The homies at Red Hawk Roofing, they've got you covered for all your roofing needs. They're the best in the business. And the thing about them is no job is too small for Red Hawk Roofing. They'll be with you every step of the way from minor repairs to full roof replacements on your home or business. There it is. Quick response time, decades of experience. They'll give you a free no obligation roof and property inspection. They'll give you a free in-depth photo report for all inspections as well. You can't always see how bad the damage to your roof is from the ground. So call them up, 720-771-8921. Tell them DNVR sent you. redhawkroofing.com.
The homies at Red Hawk Roofing. All right, we are back here, segment 2. Harrison, let's play a little either ors. It's the time of the off season where all we can do is create fake circumstances and then react to them, which is exactly what this game is. We're going to imagine things happening and then react to them. The first one I have for you. Would you rather Jokic wins MVP or Jamal Murray makes the All-Star game? If you had to only pick between one, Jokic MVP or Murray All-Star?
I'll go. Let me think here. I'm going to go Jokic MVP.
4 would be pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jokic MVP. As great as it would for Jamal Murray to make an All-Star team, like Jokic winning MVP would still be, I think, like more beneficial to the Nuggets season. Really? I have a lot of confidence. I think Jamal Murray is going to be really good. I mean, I don't know. You can make the case, but if Jokic wins MVP, the Nuggets are going to be so good and have so much team success that I really wouldn't be worried about anything else. And also just like from a legacy standpoint, I mean, I just want to keep stacking as many MVPs as possible over this decade. But yeah, like that'd be such a Jokic winning MVP would just be, you just guaranteed such a fun season.
Jokic wins an MVP, he gets 4, and the Nuggets win the title next year. He might get 5, he might get 6, which is now you're getting into all-time territory. So it does feel like there's this inflection point where if he just gets 4, forget every other thing. You have this like thing you could stand on. That being said, so I think my answer would probably be Jokic. But here's the thing. When I think about how we talk about the Nuggets, we being the entire Nuggets fan base, the broader Nuggets fan base, and I think appropriately so, people love Christian Brown. They even like Michael Porter. Some, hate this or that. Love, I think Cam Johnson, going to love Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown. Like a lot of people love Jamal because those guys are not expected to be number 2s. They're expected to be numbers 3, 4, 5, and they all do their job right. Murray is the guy who is sometimes the appropriate running mate for Nikola Jokic. If he makes an All-Star game, that means he was phenomenal. And I want the era of Nuggets version of Kobe and Shaq to start. I've enjoyed the Jokic era. It's been Jokic and the supporting cast, and sometimes Jamal rises. But I would love it if we got a steady diet several years from now in the next several years where we get to talk about this team as Jokic, Murray, and the others. And I just feel like we had that in the championship run, the playoff run a little bit. It was Jokic, then Murray, and the others. Murray has kind of just been one of the others. If he's an all-star, I think then you start talking about that Kobe and Shaq dynamic with the Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about that. If Jamal Murray is an all-star, like just imagine the season he's having and imagine the success the Nuggets are having. Both of these options kind of go hand in hand. Like the Nuggets are set up for championship contention with either one. Like Jamal Murray being an all-star would probably mean that he has obviously a good start to the season.
Yeah.
Definitely a better one than he's had in years past. He has a great end of October. He has a great November, a great December.
Yep.
And the Nuggets team success is there as well because like think about this. If when all-star voting happens, the Nuggets get 2 all-stars. Like that means they're definitely in the, top couple teams of the West. And if it's Jamal Murray, he's having a great first half of the season. They'll get Jokic in there regardless. Like he'll be an all-star even if, Denver's the 8 seed at the time voting happens. But a Murray all-star would definitely mean great individual success for Jamal and great team success.
Exactly. LeBron and Luka, they can be a 5 or 6 seed and both become all-stars, either by voted in or even just by the coaches voting them in as reserves. It could happen because they've been there before, they're stars, this or that. Murray's not getting voted in, even if he has a great season, if they're a 6 seed. It's like that's a one all-star kind of team. So that would mean that they were a top 2, maybe a 3 seed, but probably a top 2 seed. I think it'd be great. If we go to the other side of this, though, last year, I think some voter fatigue, Shea, obviously, then the Thunder winning all those games, all of those things played a factor. Do you expect there to be that same obstacle for Jokic this year? Is it just record? Like if the Nuggets finish 7 games or 6 games behind the Thunder, is Jokic back or does he have to do more? Is it like we're in official territory where Jokic has to go above the previous bar he set?
I mean, it's going to be tough for him to go above the bar of 30,
triple-double?
12, 10, triple-double. Like, I don't know if that's possible. I don't think it's possible, actually, just from like a counting stat standpoint for him to have a better statistical season. I really don't think so. I do think there was some of the shock value of just the Thunder having the record they did.
Yes.
And the season that they had and how many games up they were on the next team. Even if that's the same as it was last season next year, I don't think it will factor into the MVP voting as much. There was just some sticker shock of like, it was the Thunder's year. Like it was their season last year. And like they got all the awards, they won the championship rightfully. Like it was just their year. I don't think there's going to be as much shock about, that record, even if there's a similar gap between them and the number 2 seed.
Well, here's an interesting one that kind of plays along those same lines. Would you rather, this is a weird one, would you rather the Nuggets get 60 wins, but they're a 2 seed, presumably because the Thunder won 65 again or something like that, or the Nuggets win 56 games, but they are the 1 seed? So everybody in the West kind of has an underwhelming one. They finish top. So 60 wins in 2 seed, 56 in 1 seed.
Interesting. Give me 56 and 1 seed.
Really?
Yeah, give me 56 and 1 seed. Just because I trust the Nuggets, and a lot of this is off of last year, how they beat the Clippers and then took the Thunder to 7 games, who were clearly the best team in the league, with a less than ideal roster. Like, I just trust the Nuggets in a playoff matchup to win against anybody, And like, even if there's not much separation in the West and the Nuggets are the 1 seed with a 56 win mark, like I would just feel so good about them in the playoffs, even if the rest of the conference is kind of muddled together.
I'd say for me, the Thunder are such a different team at home versus on the road that I think this is part of it, that if you just have home court advantage against the Thunder, they're just a significantly weaker team.
Yep.
And I think that matters quite a bit. But there is something to me about Nuggets haven't had a 60-win season. You win 60 games, you're winning a lot. That's a lot of winners' lounges. And let's be honest, the regular season has been a bit of a slog in most of the years because, you feel like the Nuggets are good enough to be a 60-win team, but they don't do it. And I think it would be something we would feel if the Nuggets won 60 games in a season. It would feel like the Nuggets win every night. And so there's part of me that kind of wants that. And then you're a first seed, second seed. It's not that big of a difference, but it is a little.
Yeah. Having home court against the Thunder would be great, though.
It probably matters more. Yeah, it probably matters more at the end of the day. I will say, if the Nuggets won 60 games, it's because they found a real rhythm throughout the year. And part of me thinks like the rhythm is as important as the actual record. All right, here's a fun one for you. Would you rather the Lakers have a disaster season or the Rockets have a disaster season?
Oh, Lakers for sure.
Is this one too easy?
Yeah. Lakers for sure. I mean, you could insert any team there instead of the Rockets, and I would still take the Lakers. I mean, watching the Lakers downfall is my favorite thing to do. And I mean, a Lakers season that goes disaster mode where it's LeBron wanting out and hating Luka, like that is the brightest timeline. I mean, that would be just amazing for us.
Would it change anything if instead of Rockets, because maybe we don't feel any kind of way about the Rockets, if we said
and this isn't even an on the court thing about the Nuggets. Like this is just the Lakers.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is I'm like the Rockets are contending, whereas Lakers maybe not. So personal grudge versus actually useful. But would it change anything if I changed Rockets to Thunder and I just said, hey man, everyone's expecting the Thunder to be the toughest challenger. What if that's not the case? Their season's actually horrible. They get figured out. I'm not saying injury or this or that. Just they actually suck this year for some reason.
Yeah.
Does that change anything?
If we're thinking about Nuggets championship hopes, like yes, like that would be the best case scenario for Denver if the Thunder just don't have it and they're like, oh, well, that doesn't work anymore. And everybody figures them out and they're just not the threat that they were last year. Yes, that would definitely be above it. But just from my personal standpoint, my personal pettiness, a Lakers downfall, a Lakers disaster season would feed generations.
All right, here's the last one before we go to a break. Would you rather Michael Porter Jr. looks absolutely unguardable and all the narratives that would come along with that, with Nuggets holding him back? I mean, is he actually there all along? Or would you rather he actually looks pretty good? Like, you know what? He looks really good. We're happy for him. What a good year he's having.
Bro, do you like just think for a second about the amount of Curious Mike footage and vlogs we'd be getting if he's unguardable? That would be incredible content. MPJ looks unguardable or MPJ looks pretty good.
Like pretty good. I'm saying, impressive, better than expected by a little bit. Yeah. Versus like, holy crap, how'd the Nuggets let this guy go? He's an all-star.
MPJ looking unguardable. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. The narratives would be hilarious, but we would just know they're all bullshit. So, like, whatever.
But maybe they aren't. Maybe that's the point.
No, they're not. They're not. We have watched MPJ too many times in games where Jokic and Murray are not playing, and we've said too many times, this is the moment. This is the time for him to show that he's the number one option, and it's never happened.
Oh man, we got I don't know how to say that. Torgs here in the chat. He's right, man. Imagine Vote would be unbearable the entire year if MPJ.
Actually, yes, that's why I want it.
MPJ has the Nets a 4 seed and he's just averaging 30 a night, and we're like, holy crap, this guy's incredible.
I want intolerable Vote. That's who I want on the show next season.
Yeah, intolerable Vote, man. I don't know. I think I would go for MPJ being unguardable. I like MPJ. I want it to be good. I do think it would be really obnoxious and annoying, and we'd have to fight against that. But you know what? We can't make our life decisions based on what the pods are saying.
Oh man, they'd have so much to say.
All right, let's take a quick break. On the other side, Jokic scoring 30 or averaging a triple-double. Nuggets being the best offense ever or more balanced. We'll talk about those things on the other side.
Are you thinking of buying a home in Colorado? If you are, check out our friends over at American Financing. American Financing, they're your best friend when it comes to getting a home loan in this market and setting you up in the house of your dreams, whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to upgrade or downsize, now is the time to get pre-approved. American Financing can make that happen in 24 hours or less. Here's the kicker. When you work with American Financing and their partner, American Home Agents, you can save an additional 1% up to $10,000 on your home loan if you've been sitting on the sidelines. It's time to step in. American Financing is the place to start. Don't let the 20% down myth stop you. You could buy a home with as little as 3% down. And with down payment assistance programs available, getting into a house might be easier than you think. 303-695-7000. That's the number for American Financing.
It's a buyer's market right now, by the way. Good, lot of. It's hard to sell a home. Easy, good to buy a home right now. So not something to look into.
Buyer's market for sure. 303-695-7000. AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Also, if you're heading out on a summer road trip, if you're just driving around this summer looking for some food, Raising Cane's, RaisingCanes.com, or on the Raising Cane's mobile app. Those are all the places you can order to satisfy your chicken finger fix in a snap, man. Every time I do this read, I crave in Raising Cane's. At Raising Cane's, every chicken finger is hand battered and cooked to order. Every crinkle cut fry, crispy and perfectly salted. Every Texas toast is buttered to perfection. Every Cane's sauce is made in restaurant each day, ready to be dipped in. Are you hungry yet? Yes. Get your order today at Cane's. Keep the road trip going. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
One love. All right, there you go. All right, we're back here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hop in the chat, play along with us as we do these either ors. The next one I've got for you. Next year, would you rather Jokic scores 30 points per game? He's never done that before. Career high in scoring. Or averages another triple-double. 2 years in a row, triple-double. What would you take?
30 points per game.
Me too. Easy. This one's easy.
Yeah, 30 points. Triple-double, been there, done that,
Yeah.
We've already established. I mean, if he does average a triple-double, the sneaky one here is he probably becomes the all-time leader in career triple-doubles. He probably passes Russ's mark. So that's a little juicy.
I like that.
If he averages over 30 a game, there's a chance he wins a scoring title. And I want that chance. Jokic as the NBA leader in scoring would just be just chef's kiss on all the narratives that have ever gone against him. Just the best scorer in the NBA. I want Jokic to have that title.
This would be like they say of Wilt, where 1 year he led the league in assists just because that, whatever. It'd be like, yeah, Jokic, he also just led the league in scoring 1 year. He could do that too. It would be so great. 30 point, it might take like 33 points a game or something like that. But that also tells you have some monster games out of Jokic. In a weird way, Wind, I hate to say this because we are spoiled. I'm going to get so many comments that people are going to be so mad about what I'm going to say. Jokic will drop a 28, 14, and 12. And we'll just be like, okay, all right, we've seen it. We've seen it so many times. Jokic has a handful of, every time he scores 50, it's a big deal. 50 feels new. Monster triple-double, we've just seen it so much that a season full of 40, 50, a 60 here or there, it just would be like, so new and different.
I know. How many 40-point games do you think he had last year?
Well, he had the 60, he had the 50, and then I'd say 5.
He had 10. So if he averages over 30 a game, he probably has 20 40-plus point games.
Here's the thing I'll say, because I see a bunch of people saying if he's scoring a lot, it means the team is struggling. I'm not so sure that's the case. I know. I'm not so sure that's the case. I think that was the case in years past because it was like
that was the case with how last year's team was set up for sure.
Because guys weren't making shots, then it was like Jokic has to score through double teams, and that could be rough. But I do wonder if Jokic early on in the season with all this extra shooting is just dropping dimes, and the Nuggets are blowing teams out because it's like they have so much shooting that everyone says, you know what? Make Jokic a scorer. And it really is the best thing you could do. And Jokic just gets to, not by forcing it, by virtue of, Nick Claxton has to guard him one-on-one tonight? All right, that's 50 points. And there's just a lot of teams that pick that option because it's so much better than leaving Cam Johnson open on the wing.
Yep. So last year there was this real shift. We've watched how teams have defended Jokic throughout the years, and it's always varied a lot throughout the season and varied in the playoffs. Last year felt like there was as big of a shift as ever to we're just going to triple team him and we're going to pack 5 bodies in the paint. And we're just going to cut off everything that he does and make these other guys beat us. And it was a smart strategy. It was the right strategy. It was the correct way to play Denver. And it was kind of an easy strategy to think of and deploy because it was just so obvious of how to defend the Nuggets when looking at the roster. I think some of that will carry over to next season, and that will still be how teams are kind of thinking. But with the roster the Nuggets have, you're not going to be able to defend this team that way. And I think gradually, kind of what you said will happen. They're going to be like, we can't shade off, these role players like we did last year. Tim Hardaway is going to kill us from 3.
Right.
If Jokic just keeps passing out to him.
Exactly it.
And I wonder if it does mean more single coverage from Jokic against him. I just wonder if that's where we end up.
And it might very well be the case. In fact, I kind of suspect, and part of what might be fun about this year is we might get a Jokic 50-piece one night and the next night a 20-assist game because teams are just going back and forth. Where it's literally, right now you'd say make Jokic a scorer is your better option, but it might not be. And teams are just like, I don't know, we're going to try the scorer option tonight. Oh, that didn't work. All right, we're going to try to make him a passer tonight. That didn't work. And his stats just keep flipping, where he has 15-point games and 50-point games back-to-back, 20 assist games and 7 assist games back-to-back because teams keep trying different stuff. This one's a tough one. Would you rather the Nuggets have the number 1 offense next year and maybe like a league average defense, or would you rather they're 7th in both? So not the best, not even top 5, but they are 7th, exactly 7th in offense and defense.
Man, this is tough. 7th seems like that'd be such a bad year for the Nuggets offense. It's almost unimaginable. But then again, last year, what were they, 4th or something? And they were still really good. They were, let me see what they were in the regular season last year.
They were 4th. Yeah.
So I would probably take, give me number 1 in offense. Because I still trust the Nuggets defense in the playoffs, kind of regardless of how they look in the regular season. I mean, not totally, but last year they were trash in the regular season. Good in some clutch moments, but overall very bad in the regular season. And I thought in the playoffs they were largely good enough defensively. They were pretty much good.
I like this take.
So the 7th best offense in the regular season, that'd be great. But if they have the 7th best offense, like that means the bench sucks again.
It might mean that.
And the biggest reason why they haven't been the number 1 offense is the bench. What the Nuggets starters and what their top 6 do offensively, that's good enough to be the number 1 offense in the NBA. If you just look at the numbers when Jokic is on the floor, they'd be the number 1 offense in the NBA. It's the bench that dragged them down to 4th last year. So if they're dragged down to 7th in offense, it means the bench sucks again. Somehow it's even worse than last year on the offensive end. I'll take the number 1 offense.
Practically, I think the 7 is better. 7 on both. I think that would actually be better for the Nuggets. They probably have a better record even if that's the case. But I'm with you in that I just think that regular season defense in today's NBA is not playoff defense. And if you're the number 1 offense, it means that thing clicked for the Nuggets this year. Cam Johnson came in. That was incredible. And then I'll just buy the Nuggets being good on defense in the playoffs. So I think I'm with you, even though I would bet if you ask David Adelman this question, he would probably take the 7 and 7.
100%.
Would you? All right, random one. I don't know if you'll like this one as much. Breakout year. Would you rather it be Jalen Pickett or Zeke Naji has a breakout year this year? It's what all the fans want to know.
Zeke Naji, so you can trade him, probably.
That's actually a very pragmatic answer. Pragmatic win. Really thought through this one.
That's a pragmatic win answer. A Pickett breakout year might help the Nuggets on the court more just because they need guard play more than another big, I think. Like if Jalen Pickett could be good, You don't have to play Jamal Murray as much. You can dial his minutes and workload back. Like that would be a huge benefactor. So I'd say for the Nuggets on the court, it's probably Pickett.
I think you actually were right. You might have been joking, but I think you might actually be right that Zeke's trade value is the most important thing of either, because neither of these players are like essential to the year. They're both could be great if either one of them was good. Pickett's my guy, and I just think it'd be way more fun if he gets an opportunity. And by the way, if he gets an opportunity, I think he will be good this year. I just don't know if he's going to be part of the top 9-10 man rotation, but it would be fun for Pickett to have a breakout year, because I think he's fun, and I think if he played real minutes and broke out, fans would like it. He would break out in a way that's entertaining. If Zeke broke out, I don't know how entertaining it would be. It probably means he knocks down his threes and just like defends and rebounds well. But I do think you're right that Zeke Naji being a plus value contract would actually be huge for the Nuggets, not just this year, but for years to come. And so I think it's actually meaningfully better for the Nuggets if it's Zeke.
Yeah, because you can trade him for a player to play the role that Pickett would be playing if he broke out.
Right. And maybe a player that has value for years to come. Like Denver has to think also about keeping this train going. So there's that part there. Would you rather Peyton Watson break out or Julian Strawther break out?
Ooh, this is a good one. Definitely Peyton Watson for me, just because of the defense. And like a breakout with Peyton Watson would have a lot to do with his offense. His offense would definitely get a lot better. Yep. He'd probably shoot it pretty well, even though we always forget he shot it better than Julian Strawther from 3 last year. Peyton Watson was great from the corners. That would continue. His finishing would probably level up as well. That would be huge. But I mean, if Peyton took the leap and just became like a reliable and game-changing defender every single night, that's exactly what this Nuggets roster needs. So I'd go with that.
I think this one's easy for me too, and I love both guys. It just, to your point, there's a replacement for Strawther. It's Tim Hardaway Jr. If Strawther's bad, Tim Hardaway Jr. is good. It's fine. You get check that box. There isn't one for Peyton Watson. I think the Nuggets are going to extend him here right before camp. I would bet on it. I told people I kind of believe that will be, a 8-figure extension, per year. So I think he's going to be extended, but also on top of that,
not going to be $100 million extension.
It's not going to be $100 million, but it's also not going to be. Well, what I mean by that per year, because I've saw some people be like, I'd say offer him $5 million a year. So I'm like, guys, it's not going. That's not how this works.
Year.
Yeah, per year. Okay, like I think his extension is going to be like 13 to 15, 16 million a year. And that's going to be for probably 3 years. And that'll be what he gets. It's my hunch. And at that point, you definitely need him to break out. Now he becomes a contract where it's like you need it. But also, I just think his skill set is so valuable. Him breaking out is like Denver just got a Jaden McDaniels. If you could add Jaden McDaniels to this Nuggets roster, Nuggets fans would be pumped. If you could add Jaden McDaniels to this roster for $13 million a year, $14 million a year, you'd be really pumped. So, in my opinion, that's by far the most important one.
Yeah.
Would you rather Bruce Brown starts a podcast or Aaron Gordon starts a podcast? I think this one's easy for me.
Yeah, I'd say Bruce Brown.
I think he'd be way more compelling. Like, I love Aaron Gordon. I think he's interesting as a guest on a podcast. But hosting one, I think Bruce Brown might be the guy.
Yeah, who has more of the stereotypical white rich friend who can step in as the co-host? That might be what this comes down to. You need that guy in your podcast.
Roan, TA, every podcast does have that guy.
Who is TA?
Tony, is it Tony Alter? What's his name that does?
Tommy Alter. Yeah.
Tommy Alter, yeah.
I didn't know he went by TA. Okay,
you didn't know.
I didn't know he went by. Yeah, Bruce would be great, man. Just because I also feel like Bruce would say way more, like viral stuff too.
Yeah.
Like AG, I think would maybe he'd be quieter. He'd be a little bit more reserved. Bruce, you got a lot of interesting, things going on with Bruce. The country scene, golf.
All right, sure. Yeah. Fascinating podcast we have here.
Couple topics for him there.
A couple topics. All right, the last one, and I feel like I'm the only person on earth that cares about this one, but I care about it so much and I'm trying to get other people to care. Would you rather Jokic gets an exclusive one-on-one interview with Michael Jordan or Dirk Nowitzki?
Definitely MJ. Definitely MJ, because look, the Dirk interview would be great, but I feel like we've probably seen, a lot of the stuff from that interview already and past stuff Yoke's done. It would be really, really good. Don't get me wrong. Like, there'd be some awesome moments. He obviously loves Dirk. Dirk obviously loves him. It would be a great interview. I just would be so fascinated by what the heck would Michael Jordan ask Nikola Jokic? I have no idea what he would ask him. And that's why that's an easy choice for me.
It's MJ, though. It's the literal GOAT. And just having anything with the GOAT talking to our GOAT, Nikola Jokic, it feels like it would be an important thing for the history vault, you know? It would be one of these things that rarely ever happens that you see two players across generations like that. So it would be huge. But then Dirk, to me, would be a better interview.
Right. The MJ interview could actually suck.
It could actually be terrible. It's nothing but bad questions. We just get photos out of it.
First question, what was your welcome to the NBA moment?
But maybe it's great. Maybe it's a great interview, who knows? But I think Dirk for sure would because Dirk, Dirk loves Jokic. He's raved about him before. I feel like they have the European connection. Jokic loves Dirk. He's talked about how much he really appreciates Dirk. And I think that interview would be better. But I'm sorry, give me Jokic and MJ photos that I can use for the rest of my life. give me one clip of that I can turn into a meme for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Although the Dirk Jokic conversation about and if I'm just advising Dirk, I would say leave a good 5 minutes for this whole discussion. A conversation about the Sombor Shuffle versus Dirk's one-legged shuffle.
Ooh, imagine that. Would be incredible.
That's a good segment right there.
That would be incredible, man. I love it. MJ being a Jokic fan, though, I'm just rooting for it so hard. I just hope it happens. It probably won't happen. I don't think he'll be a Jokic fan, but we'll find out. All right, to wrap up today's show, I thought we would do an updated look. I think we did this last summer. We're going to do an updated look at all of the series the Nuggets have played in the Jokic era and rank them from worst to best. I think that'll be a good way to do this. I have a list. I'm going to give you my list, Harrison. We'll reveal this a little bit one by one, and then at the end we can see if you agree, if there's something you would fudge. I think the single worst, and I guess when we say worst, it's like you have to go back and rewatch a series, all of it. Okay, you have to. Which one would you least want to most want to go back and watch? The least one for me would be the 2021 Suns. They get swept by the Suns in the second round. They weren't competitive in any of the games. There's really not that many highlights. It sucked all around. I think that's the single least rewatchable Nuggets series of the Jokic era.
Yeah, I think a lot of series where Jamal Murray wasn't playing in are going to be on the less watchable, side of these rankings. But yeah, that was an awful series. The Nuggets were outplayed in every aspect, and we knew they would be. But yeah, that was a tough one.
It's also the series Jokic wasn't that great in it because they picked on him in the pick and roll over and over again. Remember, Chris Paul kind of hunted him, and it just kind of sucked. Because if you go, the next worst one to me is probably the 2022 Warriors series. There were two great games in that one. Bones, of course, helping lead the charge, and then Jokic had some monster performances, but it was a 5-game series. Denver did get blown out in a couple of them. They only get the one win. I think that one is on this list as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm rewatching these, watching Jordan Poole do what he did in that series again, I don't know if I could take that.
I think the next one after that is honestly this last year's Timberwolves game. Or not this last year, 2024 Timberwolves series, Go 7. Because as much as there were great moments in it, the Nuggets got absolutely curb stomped in 2 of those games, and they blow a big lead in one of them. I think that game, even though there's good games, the lows to that series are as low as any other series we've had.
And it was just such a crazy series, like thinking back to it. You get blown out in that first game. Then in game 2, remember Rudy Gobert all of a sudden doesn't play in that game? I think that was game 2. And you get blown out even worse.
Yeah.
You lose by 26 somehow. And then you come back and win 2 on the road, and then
Masterclass game 5.
Everything culminating. I mean, actually, game 5 was so good. I still think that might be the greatest game Jokic has ever played. That game being so incredible, like that might bump this series up slightly, but then you culminate in the blowing a 20-point lead at home in game 7.
And game 6, you get murdered. Remember, game 6 was like, oh, the Nuggets have it. They're going to close it out. They've won 3 in a row, and they get absolutely destroyed. So the lows in that series are so low, man, and there were a lot of them. I think the next worst one is the 2020 Lakers series. This is the bubble. I think I think this series has gotten memory hold, because if we went back and rewatched that series, we would all get our pitchforks and storm Adam Silver's office for how freaking ridiculous the foul calls were on Jokic in that series.
Actually, we should rewatch this one for that specifically. Yeah, we should all rewatch this one. But I was going to say about kind of the narratives that came out of that series that you were just talking about. Dwight Howard shutting down Jokic. Like, people still think that happened.
I know.
And yeah, Dwight Howard had some stops on him. He didn't shut him down, though. Like, that is not what happened at all.
Jokic got in foul trouble against Dwight Howard is really what happened. And he got in foul trouble on some ridiculous calls that was so annoying. That just got memory hold. But yes, he was incredible. 2019 Blazers, this is the year they lost, first playoffs. This just wasn't that exciting of a series. Murray kind of didn't show up for it that much. They lose in 7. It was a good series, but they lose. And I don't think if we went back and rewatched that one, it'd be that entertaining.
Yeah. I agree.
2025 Thunder, they lose in 7, but that was a hell of a series, man. And there were some lows in it, but I actually think that series, if you went back and rewatched it, largely you would enjoy yourself. But there was also 2 blowouts in that series, so had some lows as well.
The Nuggets, they can get blown out in the playoffs. They definitely can. It's one of the weird kind of trends in the Jokic era. They will have some just god-awful playoff performances. I don't know if I could bear watching games 4 and 5 again when Denver just blew both those games.
So now we're done with all the series they lost, so we can have some fun. Now we get to 2023 against the Timberwolves. Not that great of a series. Honestly, it was a little bit of a grind. Murray had a masterclass. Jokic had a couple of them, but a lot of the games were just kind of ugly grind games Denver pulled out. And it was kind of before the rivalry. That didn't feel like the rivalry yet. Denver just won in 5.
Yeah, it was the first time they played in the playoffs. And I mean, if you remember towards the end of that championship run, even after the championship, when talking about what were the toughest series that they played that year, most guys said the Timberwolves.
Yep. I think right after that then, so moving up, 2019 Spurs. This one had the Jokic 42-piece masterclass in Game 6, even though they lose that one. They had some other big Jokic games. And then, of course, the Jamal Murray fourth quarter in Game 2 is an all-timer. It went 7. It came down to the wire. It was a pretty good series.
I would love to go back and watch that Game 7 again. I have like 0 memories from it other than the Spurs just kind of giving up at the very end. I don't know if you remember that. They just stopped fouling, even though it was a 4-point game with time on the clock. But 90-86, I have 0 memories otherwise of that game.
Yeah. It wasn't that memorable. And the Nuggets weren't quite that good just yet. They were still on the come up, so it was a little bit early. 2021 Blazers. Now we get into series that I think are actually really good. This is when they beat the Blazers, the Austin Rivers game. Jokic was unbelievable in this series. He had some monster performances. It's kind of an upset because you didn't have Murray in the series, so you didn't know what was going to happen. That series was fun, and there were some good games in it.
Was this... No, this wasn't the year of the... Or was it the year of the Dame, what was it, 55?
Yes, and the Nuggets win. Yep.
Yeah. So what's so funny about that game is you always see like highlights from it and whatnot. Like Damian Lillard was incredible. Austin Rivers was praying to the basketball gods that he finally missed a shot. Yeah. Well, the Nuggets won that game in the series.
Right. I think after this last year against the Clippers, 7-game series, we have the AG tip in. You know, there's some iconic moments in this one. It was a pretty good series. It was well played, high stakes. I think 2025 Clippers series was actually pretty good. I don't Blazer. You could swap these two, but they're close to me.
Yeah, no, it was great for sure. I mean, so many close games too.
2024 Lakers series. This is last year, 5-game series, 2 Jamal Murray game winners. Here's the thing about this one: the 2-game winners are incredible. Nuggets didn't play that great in the series. It was kind of ugly. There weren't that many highs, as we recall. It's kind of like an ugly series that Denver just out executed in the clutch. But there was 2-game winners.
Yeah, I mean, any series where there's 2-game winners, pretty rewatchable.
2020 Clippers. This is the bubble comeback versus the Clippers. All-timer. Just a freaking huge time performances, big time shots, iconic moments, iconic plays. This one was fun. It would be tough to rewatch games 2, 3, and 4. You know, like Denver does get kind of beaten down a little bit in those ones, or whichever ones it was they lost in those first 4. But that was a great series, obviously.
They lost, games 3 and 4, but they were both pretty close games.
And then we get to, people are going to hate this one, the 2023 Heat series. Forget the context, because this is the one they win a championship, so it matters obviously for that. But if you just talk about in a vacuum the series itself, this one was great, by the way. But I think there were 3 that were actually more entertaining than the Heat series, even though the Heat series was awesome.
Right. And I mean, even in that Heat series, like, it wasn't super competitive.
Yeah.
What's funny, just looking back on it, they were at 1-1 in this series. You know, it was only the only other time they were even in a series after game 1 was against the Suns, but they weren't 1-1 back to Miami. Nobody thought they were actually going to lose the series though.
At all.
But yeah, you get the Jokic master classes, the 2 triple doubles in one game, Jokic and Murray, just so much awesome stuff.
Game 3 is an all-timer, and there are iconic moments. It was a really fun series. This is like an S-tier series. 2020 Jazz, the comeback, the first 3-1 comeback, the 50-point pieces from Murray, Jokic being clutch. This series was unbelievable. The games were felt magical. This one to me is the number 3.
It would suck watching Jokic have some of those just pitiful games though.
Ooh, game 3.
I think specifically. Ugh.
That would be tough. But the playoff is worth it because games 5, 6, and 7 were freaking unbelievable. And game 1 was unbelievable.
You forget they won game 1 of that series always.
On a duel with Mitchell and Murray. Number 2 for me is the Sun series in 2023. That one was fun because it was great. We get Jokic 50-point game. We get monster triple-double, 30, 20, 10. We get all these big games. We get a 2-2 series. And then you get the payoff, which was so fun, of the Suns getting humiliated in games 5 and 6.
Yep. Winning a series in game 6 on an opponent's court, other than just a sweep, that might be the best way to win it.
If you're watching us on our Fast channel right now and you want to see what the number 1 is, you got to go to Overtime on the internet. Head on over to the internet for Overtime. So part of it also, Wind, was just I hated the Suns so much at that moment. We needed revenge on the Suns and 4 guy. And so the catharsis of both the big game. I mean, Jokic was awesome in that game. Every single game in that series, Jokic was like A+, top of his game. So that's part of it. But the beatdown was so cathartic. It's just so fun to beat down a team you hate, which is why my number 1 most rewatchable series, and I don't know if it'll ever be topped, 2023 Lakers, because that was 4 beatdowns, 0 losses, perfect Jokic. Murray had moments, and you beat on the comeback in game 4 when LeBron gave his all to not get swept. And Jokic was just like, yeah, your all's not as good as my all. And they end up winning that one in 4. Oh, I don't think anything will ever top it. It's the most rewatchable. There's no lows. It's all highs.
You're exactly right, man. And you get 2 of the most iconic shots of Nikola Jokic's career in that series. Just 2 all-time playoff shots. Not even talking about Jokic or the Nuggets. Just 2 all-time shots in NBA history. The final moments of game 4. Just what we were feeling in that moment. That probably won't be topped.
And people picked the Lakers to win. Like, that was the championship. Even though the Heat were on the other side of the bracket, that was the championship. People were picking the Lakers. The Lakers were on a heater. Nick Wright was boundlessly optimistic after game one. Like, people didn't see it. And that was the series where it was like everyone saw it. And not only did the Nuggets beat the Lakers down that year in that series broke the Lakers. The Lakers now view the Nuggets as like, we got to avoid them, even if it doesn't make sense. That has lasted for years where Lakers fans are like, I don't know, I just don't want to see Murray and Jokic in the playoffs.
It's the best, man. It's the best. The Lakers knowing Jamal Murray owns them and being scared of Nikola Jokic it's something I never thought would happen. I never thought we would be in this situation ever. But here we are.
Here we are, man. Feels good to be us. All right, we got one super chat, Alyssa.
History Channel 5280. Every time MPJ or Cam gets on a pod, Ben Wallace's street cred goes up. That's his heart.
They're very different. Very different.
Like, those two pods that both those guys are on could not be more different. Definitely two ends of the potting spectrum.
We love our guy MPJ, man. We
We
love our goofy shooter. Everybody, thanks for tuning in with us. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you watched this late and not live, hop in the comments below and let us know what you thought of the either ors. Where did you disagree? Be polite. Have fun if it's in you. If you don't have it in you, then you can just yell, but yell at Harrison. But let us know in the comments. We always see those. We like to hear the feedback from Nuggets fans on the topic of the day. Hit that like button. See you guys tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.